of the power of vulnerability. We live in a world that teaches us to armor up, to hide our soft spots, to mask our pain, and to show only the strongest parts of ourselves. We are taught that vulnerability is weakness, that to cry, to fail, to be uncertain, or to admit fear is to lose control, to lose respect, to lose value. But what if we've had it all wrong? What if vulnerability isn't a sign of weakness at all, but one of the purest forms of courage? Today, I want to take you on a journey. Not the kind of journey that requires a passport or a packed suitcase, but the kind that asks you to unpack the walls you've built around your heart. A journey back to your truest, rawest self, because it's time we redefined what strength really means. Vulnerability is the birthplace of connection at our core. We are wired for connection. We long to belong, to be seen, to be heard. And yet the very thing we crave is often blocked by our fear of being vulnerable. Think about this. Have you ever had a moment where you shared something deeply personal with someone? A fear, a failure, a hope, and they responded with empathy. That moment, that fragile space, became sacred. It deepened your bond. Vulnerability creates emotional intimacy. Without it, our relationships remain shallow, performative, or transactional. A man once told me, "I didn't really know my father until the day he cried in front of me. That tear changed everything." In that brief moment of vulnerability, a man became human. A wall fell down and a heart opened up. Connection does not grow in perfection. It grows in imperfection, in the messy, unscripted, honest moments where we let someone see the real us. Key point 2: vulnerability is not weakness. It's courage in motion. Courage is often misunderstood. We think of warriors, battlefield heroes, or leaders standing tall, but courage in its rawest form means to tell the story of who you are with your whole heart. It's waking up each day and daring to be fully seen. Consider the entrepreneur who pours their life savings into a dream that might fail, or the artist who paints their truth and puts it on a gallery wall for the world to judge, or the single parent who admits, "I don't have it all figured out." That's not weakness. That's bravery in its most authentic form. The truth is, no one builds a meaningful life by playing it safe. Vulnerability is the price of admission to everything that matters: love, innovation, leadership, healing, and personal growth. Point 3: vulnerability allows us to embrace imperfection. Perfectionism is a 20-ton shield we carry, thinking it will protect us from criticism, judgment, or failure. But all it really does is suffocate our spirit and silence our voice. We've been taught to strive for flawlessness, especially in a digital age where curated perfection is the norm. But the reality is, imperfection is where the magic lives. One teacher once told her students, "Show me a perfect essay, and I'll show you a lie. Show me a messy one filled with honesty, and I'll show you truth." It's when we admit, "I made a mistake," or "I'm struggling," or "I need help," that we invite grace into our lives. When we accept our imperfections, we also give others permission to do the same. We become mirrors of compassion rather than judges of failure, and in that we begin to breathe again. Point 4. Vulnerability fuels resilience and growth. It's easy to think that being vulnerable makes us more fragile, but it's actually the opposite. Vulnerability is the foundation of resilience. You don't build strength by avoiding pain. You build strength by walking through it. Take the story of Maya, a cancer survivor. She once shared that the scariest moment wasn't the diagnosis, it was telling her children. She cried, she trembled, and she told them the truth. In doing so, she showed them not just what illness looked like, but what real strength looked like too. Being vulnerable doesn't mean we have all the answers. It means we're willing to show up even when we don't. That's how we grow. That's how we rise. That's how we learn to say, "This broke me, but it didn't define me." Point 5. Vulnerability invites authenticity and freedom. Let's be honest. Pretending is exhausting. Pretending to be okay when you're not. Pretending to agree when you don't. Pretending to be someone you're not to fit in, impress, or protect your heart. Vulnerability invites us to live unmasked, and in doing so, we begin to reclaim our freedom. When we are vulnerable, we stop living by other people's scripts. We stop hiding behind roles and expectations. We start living from the inside out. And yes, not everyone will applaud our honesty. Some will misunderstand it. Some may even reject it. But the reward is that you will finally belong to yourself. And that, my friends, is freedom. Point 6. Vulnerability is essential for creativity and innovation. Every great invention, every piece of groundbreaking art, every bold idea started with someone daring to share something that didn't yet exist. Creativity demands vulnerability, because to create is to risk failure, rejection, and judgment. Think of writers, artists, entrepreneurs, or musicians. They put their inner world on display, knowing full well that someone might criticize it. And yet, they do it anyway, because the risk of being misunderstood is smaller than the regret of not trying. We can't innovate without vulnerability. Playing it safe might protect us from failure, but it also shields us from brilliance. K.7. Vulnerability strengthens leadership. The best leaders aren't the ones who pretend to have all the answers. They're the ones who are brave enough to admit they don't. You don't have vulnerability in leadership looks like saying, I made a mistake. I don't know yet, but I'm committed to finding out. Here's what I'm struggling with. Let's work through it together. When leaders model vulnerability, it creates psychological safety. Teams feel more empowered, honest, and loyal because they're following someone who's real, not someone who's just performing power. In today's world, we don't need more perfect leaders. We need more authentic ones. K.8. Vulnerability transforms shame into healing. Shame thrives in silence, but vulnerability breaks that silence. When we say, this is what I'm going through, or this is what happened to me, we shine light on the places shame hides. One young woman once said, when I finally shared my story of trauma, I didn't lose power, I gained it. A vulnerability doesn't erase the past, but it loosens its grip. It transforms our pain into purpose and our silence into strength. Healing begins the moment we say, I'm ready to be seen. K.9. Vulnerability deepens self-worth. Many of us tie our self-worth to what we do, how we look, or who approves of us. But true self-worth begins when we allow ourselves to be fully human, messy, beautiful, flawed, and whole. Being vulnerable isn't just about being open with others. It's about being honest with ourselves. It's the ability to look in the mirror and say, I am enough, even as I grow. You are not your failures. You are not your follower count. You are not your bank account. You are not the version of yourself you curate online. You are worthy simply because you exist. Vulnerability reminds you of that. K.10. Vulnerability is contagious. It creates a ripple effect. When one person is brave enough to go first, it opens the door for others. Think about a group of friends. If one person shares something real, maybe a fear, a heartbreak, or a truth they've been holding in, it changes the entire energy of the room. Suddenly, everyone exhales, the masks come off, the real conversations begin. That's the power of one person choosing vulnerability. It gives others permission to be human too. So today I invite you to lean into the discomfort of being seen, to choose truth over perfection, to speak up even when your voice trembles, to tell someone, I'm scared, or I need help, I love you, and mean it with your whole, tender heart. The power of vulnerability isn't in being fearless. It's in feeling the fear and showing up anyway, because in the end, it's not the masks we wear that connect us. It's the courage to take them off. So take off the armor, let yourself be seen, because the world doesn't need a perfect you, it needs a real one.